we're live! Oh my god! Okay, even though we started a bit late, I feel like this is the first time that I've done this successfully because I always have trouble, even though it took me a while to find the go live stuff. So we're live.
Yeah,
Hello, everyone. If anyone is in the chat or will be soon, um, we're gonna wait a few. See if anyone shows up. I just tweeted out that we're live.
eh, but it's really early in America, so I don't know if anybody's live now
Yeah,
online.
it's like 7:22 a.m. here with me, and I know that means that like in California it's like 5 in the morning.
Yeah, but what can we
But we
do?
will
For
continue
me,
anyway.
yeah, for me it's 2 p.m.
Mm. I wish it were 2 p.m. here.
Mm.
I'd be a little more awake. Okay, so we're gonna go
Oh,
ahead and start. Tweet's been sent out, and you and I are here. Um,
okay.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another of our end of month recap live streams here on the Owls YouTube channel. We are Owls. Two Owls today. If this is your first time at one of these, OWL stands for Otaku Warriors for Liberty and Self-Respect, and we're basically a group of bloggers and vloggers who believe that people deserve respect and love regardless of their race, gender, orientation, religion, disability, and really the list goes on and on. Um, and so every month here at Owls, we do blog tours where our members discuss a given topic. Like we've had topics on like happiness
Technology.
and like technology. Like we just had a technology one recently. Like suddenly I forget all the themes that we've had, but we have a lot. We've been running for 2 years and a couple months. We are on our 10th month, but this is a stream for our 9th theme, right? Yeah. um, and so we do blog tours where our members discuss a given topic, which are assigned to us by Lynn, our creative chief officer, and using personal experiences and or by analyzing pop culture, literature, and other forms of media, we explore what the monthly topic means to us, like individually, because everyone kind of has like a different way of interpreting the theme. Um, but before we jump into our September theme, I think we should introduce ourselves. My name is Crimson, and joining me for this live stream is Hikari. We also may or may not have Audi joining us today. She had some school things come up last minute, so things are on the fence on her end. But we hope she can join us, even if it's for a little while down the live stream road. But yeah, Hikari, can you introduce yourself?
Yeah, I'm Hikari from Hikari's Otaku Station. I'm not really new, but somewhat new to the Owls, and this is my second live stream.
Yes. Hikari is always excited about joining the live streams, which is amazing. So we have her here with us again.
Try.
Yeah. And then my name is Crimson, and I am the person blogging over at Cute Boy Central. And basically, I just do a lot of random things here at Owls, like trying to keep these live streams going and putting out the monthly schedules. Other than that, I pretty much just help out wherever it's needed and then write. I try to write every month. This is probably the first year where I have successfully done almost every month. But yeah, I think we can start. Um,
Okay,
so
you won't
for
believe it, but
what happened?
you won't you won't believe it, but I actually took notes for this live stream.
Yeah, I always try to take notes because once we start, it's like I forget everything.
Yeah, I know.
uh,
Okay,
So for September, our theme is lover. And so this is the prompt that we were given. When it comes to romantic relationships, what do we look for in a partner? What core values do we seek when it comes to building a healthy and long loving relationship? For this topic, we will be discussing some of our favorite couples in pop culture and what they have taught us about love and relationships, the good and the bad. And this prompt was actually requested by one of our members, so thank you, Flo, for the very demanding prompt theme. Did you like the theme, Hikari?
Okay. Yes, I will say I won't spoil anything, but I am more excited about the next one coming, but this one is also good.
When I saw this theme, I was like, I might not be able to participate, but like I really wanted to, so my post might be a little
Yeah.
weird. um, but
Okay. Uh, should should you talk first, or how we're gonna do this?
uh, I'll say. Oh, that was my chair. Sorry. I will
Uh,
say who we're gonna talk about, and then I'll let you talk first before I start talking too much. So we're gonna go in the
okay.
order that the post went live. So first up is Aria.
Okay. So, uh, her post deals with. First of all, I saw this that she wrote. I want to congratulate her. She said it's almost 1 year since she joined the OWLS.
Oh yes.
And she, for this team, picked, it's in my notes like this. So, Relationship Matters is the title. She talked about how do we say it, husbando and
Yeah.
waifus. Oh, what did you think of that?
Um, I have a lot of husbandos, so I really like this post, even though Aria didn't really like go into a lot of detail, but I thought there were some interesting points. Um, I guess also if you guys hear noises, this is around the time that my family starts getting up and getting ready for the day, so that's what it is. Anyway, um, so I thought it was interesting that she mentioned she mentions the whole your 2D characters can tell you what you like in a partner or in a relationship, even though they're like not real.
Yeah, so that's actually interesting. Before about husbandos, I always liked a character with a dark past, you know?
Oh, okay.
And she wrote she likes maybe when they have white hair, like not when they're old, just when it's white. And
I think I don't know if it's on my end, but I can't hear anything you're saying.
okay, somebody live or
Okay, I can hear you now.
okay. So what I was saying is that when it comes to husbandos, I like a character with a dark past, maybe,
Hmm.
because I see then a great character development, maybe how they grow through the series.
Yeah.
And I always like black hair. My topics are for black hair.
Oh, okay.
How about you? What's your favorite type?
I have too many. um. So I think I'm with Aria on this. Cause she writes. Generally, I have a preference for husbandos who aren't particularly macho, although a bit of musculature never hurt anyone. Um, Dependable, relatable, um, white hair. But there was another part that basically, oh, there it is. The secret to a big Hispano list is that I pick them based on looks and personality. So a lot of the times when I pick my husbando, it's based on looks, which I feel like I wouldn't really do in real life, except I kind of do, because a lot of the times I end up developing crushes on like people that are kind of good looking.
Yeah, I also I discovered recently it doesn't matter how good looking the character is, if it's a jerk, you know,
Mm-hmm.
which sometimes can be a point, then I don't like him. I'm trying, I don't know,
I think I'm the opposite. I feel like if like the character's a jerk, I'm like I like you.
like bad boy, right?
Yeah, but like I like for jerk characters, I feel like I like them because they're kind of funny. I feel like if it were like a real jerk, like bad, evil, like does atrocious things, I wouldn't really like them unless like I don't know. I feel like there's a lot of things that kind of make up why I like my husbando. Like you said, like the tragic backstory. Like sometimes that makes them like evil. So
Yeah,
it
yeah.
it
I like it.
depends.
Yeah, what story is it and that stuff.
Yeah.
And I don't, I mean, waifus, I don't pick. I pick maybe some, I admire some strong female lead maybe in anime.
Mm. Yeah, I don't really have waifus. Like, there
Yeah,
are some
yeah,
characters that I really like, but
yeah. Like they inspire you.
yeah, like, there's only one person that I would call my waifu, but like, this is like a real person, but like, I don't know if I treat them the same way as I would, um, a husbando. I don't know. It's so weird.
Yeah,
Which I think someone else mentions, but I could be wrong. It could be like it could have been another post that I read. Actually, I think it was another post that I read. It was by Karandi, and she talks about like the differences between male lead characters and female lead characters. I think it was a post that she wrote like 2 months ago because it was for the John's Creator Showcase. So that's why I read it, and I feel like that whole idea that she talks about in her post, um, that kind of relates between like my husbandos and waifus. So that was basically the gist that I got from Adia's post.
yeah. So, should we continue or we're gonna stay on this topic for a little more?
We can continue unless you had something else to add.
Okay. No, I'm finished.
Okay.
Okay, so next up is Megan from Nerd Rambles.
Mm-hmm.
And I love this post actually. Partners in Crime from Death Note.
Oh yeah, I saw it and I was like, this one's gonna be one of my favorites.
Yeah, because I even wrote to a typical post, shoujo, and this is more like discovering because I haven't seen Death Note in a really long while, but I remember how much Misa, the character, really sacrificed herself for light, but just as Megan's wrote, he really didn't care that much. She was a tool.
Yeah, I recently watched, well, sort of recently rewatched Death Note, so I actually remember a little bit more than I would if I hadn't rewatched it because I also watched it like a really long time ago. Um,
Yeah,
and I feel like Misa Misa's character is always kind of like not bashed, but they're like, well, she's like you mentioned, she's like a tool for light, and she's kind of like in the shadows, but and I agree
but
that what Megan mentions, but I also like that in their post, Misa isn't
uh,
just a tool.
yeah, she's smart. She helped Light a lot with her eyes that she has,
Yeah,
that can uh, see the people's lifespan if it's correct.
yeah. And then she kept doing that, and it's like that was the only reason why like sometimes there was like progression. So
And I like this sentence that Megan says. Even I know that relationships are something that can only work when both parties are involved. So, like, it takes some respect and like that.
yeah, and I feel like Misa didn't really have that from Light. So
No, no, she didn't. I remember at the end of the anime when he. Do you remember that girl in college? I think he was with.
oh yeah,
Um,
I think I remember her. I don't remember her name though.
yeah, how she. How when he was dying, he started shouting names like hers, then Missa's, like save me. Do you remember that?
Oh, I don't remember. I remember like when he was dying, but I don't remember that little detail.
I don't know, it just stuck in my head.
Huh.
Um, okay, so what else? Megan wrote, what?
I think the part that you read was basically like the biggest takeaway from the post.
Yeah, but honestly, before I watched Death Note, when I saw an video on YouTube featuring these two, I thought even they, what is this? I never seen this. Maybe it's a good couple, but then I got really disappointed. I didn't know even it was. Uh, would you call this a horror anime or manga? I'm
Um,
always wondering.
uh, I don't know what it's categorized as. I don't think I would call it a horror because it's not really like. Because when I think of horror, I think of like Halloween type themes, like gore and like just scary
There
things.
may be,
And even though there are like some elements of it in here, I feel like I don't know what it is. Like
yeah.
crime,
So maybe
thriller.
supernatural.
Yeah. But yeah, so
Okay.
I did really like this post because we kind of see like the bad side first before we start looking at like the nice posts.
Yeah. Okay. So who was next?
Jack is next, and he talks about Lovely Complex, specifically about the couple Koizumi and Otani.
Ah, yes, that post is one of my favorites this time too, because this show, I mean, I don't even remember much except the plot, but it was really good.
I
And
haven't watched this one.
yeah, because what did I wrote here? Because that's right. He said how Otani and Koizumi were friends first. Actually, I think they didn't like each other at first because of the height difference.
Yeah,
Here?
I think there was something like that. Um,
Yeah, I read that. I remembered and read that they were a comedy duo thanks
yeah,
to their height. That's really cool, and I love how Jack just said that it's sometimes you can be friends and then go to a relationship status, you know?
hmm I feel like friends to lovers is one of like the biggest things in romance anime, but I feel like it does happen because when you're friends, you kind of like get to know each other, and then that kind of sort of slowly progresses. Like it could potentially.
Yeah, that's development I like to see.
Yeah. Um, I have not watched this series, but it looks really cute. I think the only other time that I've seen like a series where the girl is taller than the guy is in Loveless, and that was also funny because the girl made up this lie where she says she couldn't date guys that were shorter than her as sort of like a rejection, but then she ends up falling for a guy that's shorter than her, so that's kind of like a really funny thing that I thought of when I read this post. Um, but I felt like the biggest takeaway from reading this was that it's okay to just want to be with someone. Because I feel like when it comes to relationships, some people kind of don't really go for it.
Yeah, I know.
Or maybe it's just something that it's on my end. Because, like, I get a lot of crushes, I have a lot of husbandos, and but I never really see myself as like taking an initiative because being in a relationship is kind of like a vulnerable thing. Um, and it's, I don't know, it's kind of weird and I don't really know how to explain it, but it's basically like I can't really tell myself that it's okay to be with someone, but like reading this post, it's like, no, it is okay. And I guess that really spoke to me.
Yeah, I understand what you mean. Really, I do. Okay. Do you have anything else to add?
I'm
You
good with
know,
that.
yeah. Okay then. Then next up would be uh, Shay,
Yes.
a Paradise Kiss portraying a relationship we all had. This is video, and I was like, never heard of this series, you know? And then in Shay's post, the two main ship or a couple, how do we call it, don't end up together,
Yeah.
you know? Like, don't do that to me. I'm interested in watching it, so don't spoil the ending. But it was still a good video.
Yeah, I have not watched Paradise Kiss, but I've heard about it and I've seen like the art, and I feel like it might have been this title, or it might have been like a different title by the same person that I saw. But I'm actually really interested in.
I know that I took a note that this girl that wants to be a model, but her mom does is not supportive of it.
Yeah.
That I
Um, I wrote also in asterisk that they didn't end up together, so you mentioned that already. Um,
yeah
and I actually like that about this series, even though it's like you mentioned, like it's kind of sad because you're so used to watching all these other series where the characters do end up together. Um, but
yeah yeah
I really like Shay's point that, you know, it's not always that you guys end up together. Sometimes you guys don't, and that's what happens in this one. Like there is no quote unquote happy ending, but like you still learn something from the relationship because when you go into a relationship sometimes it doesn't work out, and I think the series is an example of that one time it didn't work out.
oh yeah I know, but still that is I think I want to put it on my to watch list. That's
Yeah,
for sure.
I'm gonna watch it. um but yeah, so not all relationships work out, and that's okay
Sometimes
because
they
we
do, sometimes they don't.
yeah, and sometimes, or like you always learn from everything that happens in your life. So that was another takeaway that I got from Shay's video.
Yeah.
Anything else you want to add?
Um, uh, not really. That's all. And then the next one is Pinky. Pinky from Pinky's Pokemon.
Yes, and Pinky is
And
actually a new member, so thank you for joining. We're really happy to have you with us, and I hadn't read your blog before, but it's been really fun so far.
yeah, I actually, uh, r- in some way, she inspired me, like with games and gaming,
Oh,
because she plays Pokemon mostly, but when I got inspired towards the games.
oh, okay. I thought it was just like watching Pokemon because I don't really watch Pokemon. I didn't know there were, well, I did know there were games, but I didn't know that like they were like storylines. I guess that makes sense.
I guess it does have point. Um, what she wrote in this post, I liked. I still remember, you know, about Ash and Misty.
Mm.
I still remember that movie, Pokemon One, from. Do you remember when they were on some island? Those three birds that represent the elements. Do you remember that maybe?
I only remember the movie where like Ash turns into stone, but I don't even remember the whole movie. I only remember that moment.
Yeah, that's because they showed Pikachu who was crying, I know.
Yeah. But I didn't
Honestly,
really
that
watch a lot.
somehow, Yeah, I used to watch it when they aired it in our TV here. That and Yu-Gi-Oh!
Oh yeah.
And I really love Pinky said how Misty is a tsundere, and that really describes her well.
Oh yeah. I
Like,
think. Go ahead.
it's okay, are you here?
Yeah.
Um, and but I liked Serena more because she actually met Ash or Satoshi back when they were little kids. So that was really nice because she really loved him. She was even open about it in some scenes I saw. But hey, he didn't get a girlfriend, but he won a championship finally.
Yeah, I did hear that. I
Yeah,
didn't know.
after I think
I didn't know
on
that he
one.
hadn't won anything though.
I always knew new series he comes maybe to the finals or semi-finals and loses. But after 20 years he has won the championship. And he's still 10. That always gets
That's
to
kind
me.
of weird. I
Yeah.
I used to read like the theories about like why he didn't age.
Yeah, because it doesn't make sense when if it was like a series for itself, but they all catch up. I mean, some old characters come back in the newer series, you know?
Hmm. So I have not watched Pokemon in forever, but I do remember Misty, and I don't know who Serena is. I don't know where she came up, or maybe I just don't remember her. Um, but I used to ship Ash with May because I thought May was cute, but I don't even remember if there was anything going on there. Um, but I guess my
Uh,
I thought Pinky's post was
so,
really interesting because
yeah,
she mentions a lot about like the expectations that society has for us and how you have to get a job right away and then you have to like always look for the best partner or like have the most successful job or like life, like you have to be the best at everything, which I'm trying not to say because it keeps reminding me of the Pokemon song. um and so it's like you mentioned, like Ash didn't end up with any of the girls, and Pinky is like it's because of that ambition and passion that he had, like he wanted to keep going and to get like that championship that you said he won. um
yeah.
and so it's like he weighted these two things, like which one was more important. And so love didn't win. And it's kind of sad. Um, what do you think about that? Because I have my thoughts.
um, Honestly, I always thought when I found out Pokemon was an anime that it's just one of those series where, much like Yu-Gi-Oh, I think there's always when in Yu-Gi-Oh when a girl likes the main character, but I never really saw ending up together any of them. So I kind of got used to that fact that Ash is all about the championships and becoming, how do they say it, a Pokemon master, right?
Oh, okay. Um, I guess I think. Um, let me see if I can get my thoughts straight this morning. Um, I guess maybe it's just like society has invaded me, but I think that it is a good thing to have like ambitions. But I also agree with Pinky where it's like if you fall in love with just the ambition, it's like what happens after that ambition has been like found or like or I don't know, maybe down the line it's not there anymore. I don't know if that's possible. I'm not a very ambitious person. So I can't really say too much on that, but I it's sort of like I understand what Pinky is saying, but I also understand Ash, so it's like maybe there's like a balance somewhere in the middle that Ash could have found, but he didn't because he just wanted to be a Pokemon master.
Yeah. Oh, do you have anything else to say, or?
I think that was the gist of it. The main takeaway was like you know just society and how that plays a role in what we consider as love and the ideal lover.
Okay, then shall we move on?
Yeah, so next up is Audi, who wrote about Mikako-san, which is a manga.
Yeah, I never read it, so I don't know much.
I have not read it yet, but I saw the pictures for it, like some of the pages that she put on there, and I really want to read it because it looks very soft and cute, but apparently it's very sad and like melancholy type feels to it.
Yeah, I know. Sometimes I just want to read something that will, cheer up a little, brighten the day.
Hmm. Um. So I feel like this post was a little hard to understand. Um. Because Aori does what the manga does and doesn't really answer the question of love or lover and actually just throws kind of like another question at us. Um, which I feel is like something you do in like philosophy or like moral classes stuff. Um, but I jotted down what your concept of love expects of a partner, and I feel like Pinky and Audi's posts back to back kind of works well together because Pinky's talking about what how society affects your views on love, and then Audi is like, is it really love that kind of defines how like your ideal partner or relationship is like, or is it like this idea of love that you have, and it's like, so what is love?
Yeah, sometimes I think we shouldn't dig too deep into the theme.
Yeah, I feel like um, I think someone else mentions it, but I feel like love is sort of just like a feeling that you have, but we're kind of trying to like analyze it all, so it's kind of weird.
And you're next, so I get to ask, right?
Yes.
Okay. So first, now by Crimson, I noticed the manga or anime you took as an example. That's the same one you told me for BL a while back when we talked to try.
Yes.
I still haven't tried it, but I'm new at that Fujoshi. How do we say it? But is do you, did you read the manga or just watch the series?
So number six is like my all-time favorite anything. So I actually read the light novel, I read the manga, and I watched the anime.
Yeah,
But
this black-haired character with this, it's not a ponytail. It's I don't know how to call it. Is just really good looking.
yeah, he's one of my husbandos. But actually, that is a ponytail. He has long hair.
Yeah, because what should I ask? You put a lot of how should I say it, plot. So honestly, I wanted to watch it like so I can be surprised. So I didn't really read about the plot. If you understand what I mean.
Yeah, I. It's a lot of the OWLS posts do go into like what are they called? Into spoiler territory. So mine has a lot of it. But yeah, so my
Yeah,
post, the series that I chose, like I call it a boys love title. A lot of people will argue that it's not, that it's something else, that it's something more. But I mean, technically, the guys do kiss and they kind of like have this bond. So I mean, I consider it a BL, and I really wanted to talk about a BL title, so that's why I chose it.
yeah. I remember you said in text to me that it was more shonen I, right?
Yeah,
Okay, but I will watch this for sure.
you should. Everyone should watch it.
Uh,
um,
that-
but up next we have Fred,
okay.
and he didn't really talk about one thing specifically. He talked about a lot of things.
Yeah, that's what got me confused a lot.
What did you think about his post?
I liked he was the first one that put this song by Doris Day, and he even mentions where was it? He used, I think, Google Translate, like, or how it's according to Google, what lover means. This is really that was really good for me, and it's really this person. I'm just seeing. I'm on his post. I'm seeing that this Doris passed away. This song was from 1958. Wow.
So I actually only
Uh,
heard a little bit of the song, but yeah, I think it really goes well with like all of his posts.
yeah, he was. His post was definitely, how should I say, an original.
Yeah, I really like a lot of Fred's posts for owls because I feel like he's really all encompassing. Like he looks at the theme from like different perspectives, and while he doesn't talk a lot about certain things, it's like enough for you to like start thinking about, you know, what it all means. Um so you mentioned the he looked up what lovers means, which is something I used to do and then I stopped doing because I'm like, I'm just gonna write whatever comes to mind first. But I actually did not know what lover was. Like, I was just kind of going through like what I would think of as like what lover means, and I think that happens a lot in language where you're like, oh, this word means this, but then you look it up and it's like, well, it kind of means this, and you didn't really know. So that was really helpful for me too. Um, Especially the second part, which is a person who likes or enjoys something specified, because I feel like a lot of the or a couple of the other bloggers that wrote for this tour actually talk more about that second point than they do about like the first one, which would be a sexual or romantic relationship with someone. Um, but yeah, I thought I jotted down a lot of things because Fred talked about tons of things where it's like, lovers can be an intimate relationship outside of marriage. It can be fleeting, it can be forever. And I think a lot of the people that have talked so far talk about more of like a forever type of thing.
Yeah. Um. Yeah, I agree. And just to end, what I think that I really liked is picking
What was that? I didn't
pictures. I
hear.
mean, what?
Can you
Yeah, I
repeat that?
didn't
I
hear
didn't hear
you.
you. Ooh, is our connection dropping? No, okay. Can you repeat that last part? I didn't hear it.
I I said that I liked his pictures that he put on this post.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
he really looked at Lover from a lot of different angles. So a lot of the pictures that he uses are from like art.
yeah. I think we could actually, if this was the only post, we could talk about it just specifically. Like just that. How many categories he put.
Yeah, he talked about he got a lot. um, but before we move on, I just wanted to mention that he does give a lot of good points on what you should look for in a relationship, which you guys can find out when you read his post. But I jotted down that he also mentions monogamy, polygamy. I guess that's what would be called not feeling romantic feelings, friends with benefits, being unmarried, and I feel like that's something that nobody has covered in this tour because it's not really what you think of when you think of like the ideal lover or the ideal relationship. So, something to think about.
Yeah. Okay. So we are moving on. Next up is pop from pop culture literary.
Yeah,
And what did she write about? Uh, about ships. That's
yes.
the mark I put on it, on my notes.
I did the same thing.
Yeah, because we all love our ships.
Yeah, I ship all the time.
Yeah, I even try to be like a little bit down, so um, so I can actually watch the story. It's hard in the shoujo memes, you know?
Oh yeah. I found
What
that
did you say?
I Oh, I said yeah, I agree.
Okay.
Um I felt like Carla's post was very similar to Aria's because they talk about like two things that are kind of similar.
Yeah, husbando and ships. Well, it kind of is the same thing, but what would you say is the two characters? I mean, you ship like really they were your favorite or still are.
Oh my god. You know, whenever people ask questions like that, I suddenly forget everything. But in front of me, I have a shipping shrine where I have like Inaho and Slain from All Noah Zero. I have I was gonna say the two guys from Cardcaptor Sakura, but I feel like that's canon, so that's not really shipping. Um,
Yeah,
and then I have like Miyuki and Sawamura from Ace of Diamond. That might be it. I'm gonna go with them because like I love them. They're my children.
yeah, I know. I, for example, really in the past shipped. Do you know anime Maggie, The Labyrinth of Magic?
I've heard about it, but I've never watched it.
Yeah, so I shipped two characters for a very long time, and every time they were together in the panel of the manga, I was, like finally, but they did not end up together, and I can say I have moved on. I have moved on.
That's what we all say.
I know.
It's like I've never moved on. No. Um but yeah, I really liked her post because it talks about something that's fun, like that everyone does. Like I feel like we all ship, and if you don't, I must question you. But
Yeah,
like she uses like this technical jargon. She calls it decoding and sense making. I call it shipping. But she also mentions that like a couple reasons why we ship. I feel like I ship characters because they look cute together. Um,
yeah.
Carla kind of goes more in depth towards the like supporting each other and like doing yeah, I ship some characters that would die for each other. I feel like, like the diehard shonen protagonists. Um, but I mean, I ship them.
What, what can we do?
Mm. Um,
Okay, are we going to move on or?
yeah, so Naja is next, and she talks about the ultimate romance, Color and Malice, the characters Ichika and Enomoto. Guys, I'm probably
Yeah,
saying all of this wrong.
I haven't played this game, so I'm actually just trying otome games. So I can't really say much, but Naja is how much I talk to her. I think she's really an otome games expert.
Oh yeah, I don't really talk to her much about games, but like all her posts, I feel like whenever I read them, I'm like, she knows what she's talking about.
Yeah, like so in detail. And So I don't know, do you have something? I feel bad because somebody took their time to write a post, but I don't know about the game, so
So I haven't played Collar and Malice either. I really want to after reading this post, just because I want to meet Enomoto, and like I love him. I don't know you, but I love you. And I think it's interesting that she's talking about an otome game because she mentions that you can craft your own romance experience. So it's kind of like all these things that all of the other bloggers have been talking about, where it's like you kind of play the ship that you like and why do you like it, and uh some of the reasons, or like the biggest reason that she talks about for why she likes this couple is because they're equals, they're on each other's level. And that reminds me that I would like a smarter partner because I'm not very smart. But it's like, you pick equals because then you feel more comfortable with them. And I feel like, if realistically speaking, if I wanted, like, if I like had a partner that was smarter than me, I feel like I would feel dumb. I don't know if
yeah,
that
I
makes
know.
sense.
It's kind of the same thing. Like I I don't want when it comes to age, you know.
Hmm.
I always wanted not him not to be in real life, not to be too much, you know,
Hmm.
far, because then I would feel like a child. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Childish.
Yeah.
So I guess it's a kind of the same thing.
Yeah. And so, I mean, that was my biggest takeaway from Naj's post, is that you kind of want to have someone that is on your level, that you're not afraid to fight with or tell them how you're feeling, or just, talking to them. Um, and that it takes time to build all of this up. So I I
Yeah,
want to play this game even more now.
yeah, I know. I actually have to play one another otome game. There's just so much you would like to do, or but you can't, or you don't have the time.
I know, right? This is when having Naruto's Shadow Clone Jutsu would be very helpful.
I love that.
Yeah, it's like you go play anime games and you go watch anime and you go blog.
Yeah, like how do we say it? Like just copies. One does this, one does this.
Yeah,
But we get the original gets all the memories and joy and experience.
yeah. Um,
So, shall we go on?
yeah, so up next we have Lynn, and she mainly talks about a personal experience. Or not a personal experience, but like her personal experience.
I wrote the exact same note in my notes. Personal experience. Okay.
What did you like about her post?
I like that she said she has yet still to experience that feeling of love, but she's I don't know how to. I like her ideas like there has to be an equal. I'm reading right now it give and take between both partners. How to be fair, what communication and loyalty, that's what makes a great relationship, like that. This is what you said. We encounter some same things, so then I don't really know what to say.
Yeah, I like Lynn's post, but I I don't know how I would describe myself. I feel like I'm a little bit more pessimistic. So like, but just to like be picky, I'm also like, all of these things, well, the same thing as love, like all of it is just like, what is it? And I think someone mentioned like, how do you define lover without like using love or something? I feel like I read that somewhere. I don't know who it was. Tell me if it was you. Um, and you know, she mentions that a relationship is all of the good stuff. Um, but like, what are all those things like? I feel like Lita really talks about this more, but like it's basically just how you experience it, like through the things that don't work out, the ones that do. You learn to kind of know how much loyalty you want, how much commitment, how much teamwork is needed, how much communication is ideal, all of these things. Um, but yeah, that's basically what I wrote too. I'm like, both sides need to give and take. I also wrote life partners, soulmates exist because that just caught my attention. I'm not really the type to believe in those things, but some people are, and maybe that's just like one of those things that kind of helps you on this journey of lover. Um, but yeah, I I guess like I thought it was funny that she wrote this post and said that she's not really like an expert on it, even though like I feel a lot of people think that she is. Like I think that she would be, like, if I had like romance uh like if I needed romance advice, I feel like I would ask her. Even though she wrote this post and she's like, I don't really have experience.
Yeah, I don't really have much either. Ori is trying to contact us. She just logged in.
Who? Wait, what happened?
Ori is trying to connect us. She's available for live stream.
Oh,
Live
um,
streams in OWLS, you can see.
oh, okay. Let's try to add her. Let's see if this works. Okay. This is awesome. This is gonna be like her voice reveal. Um,
Um,
sorry guys, we're gonna add her in a sec. Okay, I think she just did. So let's add her. Um, hmm. This is actually very interesting because I have never added someone to a voice thingy. Uh,
I think we have. It says add friends in direct message. I don't know if that's it, but
oh, okay, I see it. Let's see. Uh, wow, I'm having like a really bad name thing.
But oh, here you are too.
Okay. Audi, I think your microphone is off.
Just click on it, the microphone, besides the left the call. Yeah, that's.
And now?
Was that you? Can you hear us?
Arwing connection.
Yeah. Can you hear?
A little. I don't know how to say it.
Yeah, like you're
I
coming
can.
in and then you're going out.
Yeah, the network's bad here. Hold on, I'll find a window.
We can hear
How
you.
about now?
Okay.
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay.
Uh oh, microphone is off again.
So, do I just join in?
Oh yeah, okay. I wasn't sure if you were ready. So Audi, since you missed introductions, do you want to introduce yourself?
Sure, why not? So I'm Ori and I'm from Manga Toitsugaki Karikoto. I blog about manga mostly, relatively new, and as you can see by now, very, very bad with technology.
Don't worry, I'm bad at it too.
So,
So
Senpai, which one are we on?
we are on Lynn's post. Hikari and I just finished talking about it. Did you want to add
Oh,
some
wow.
talk about it?
Lin San. Hold on. Oh, yeah, she talked about that high school sweetheart song.
Mm-hmm.
That's the one, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, she had some good points about commitment and loyalty. I don't know, I guess we should move on.
Well, I feel like there wasn't a lot to talk about in this one, because it feels like the I don't want to say because it feels like it sounds mean, but it feels like the obvious answer to what lover would be.
Yeah, true, but like, I mean, somebody had to say it.
um, but yeah, I mean, I still liked it because I like reading about personal posts, and Lynn's post was a personal one.
True, and I think it's one of the few that went music as their choice instead of reading written medium.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Okay. Then we have Yoon Deku's post. Um, Crimson, if I remember correctly, these two, when you open his post, these characters, this is Mirai Nikki, right? I think.
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah,
I haven't seen that one, but I know people always add that it's a yandere. How do they say it?
Yeah, that's what they call you know.
Yeah.
yeah. I thought that was an interesting post. I mean, that was a take I would have never given
Yeah.
and never have thought of actually. But it was surprisingly very, very. It made sense, honestly.
I felt like it reminded me of Megan's post because both of these are kind of couples you wouldn't really expect to have people talk
Yeah,
about.
think of at the start. Yeah.
Yeah, so I really liked it for the same reason you mentioned, Audi. Like it makes sense, even though it's like not really the type of relationship I want to be in.
True, true. More like when Megan
Yeah,
San said about Joker and Harley, right? I mean, he made sense. At that point, there was only one person who was dominating, but I think in and Yuki Teros, it's more of both are crazy.
Yeah. So I actually watched Future Diary. I feel like I call it Future Diary because I
Yeah,
I'm
that's
very
the.
bad. But I actually watched this one. One of the few that I actually have watched because I never watch anime apparently. Um, and I think Yumdeku starts the post by saying like these are all like traits that you kind of look for, but they're at like the max level. They're like at the extreme. Um,
yeah, I agree. I, mm,
and I
I don't
mean,
know what to say.
basically, it's like nobody's
I mean, I
perfect.
have,
What happened?
yeah, it's like that. Like you said, um, I don't know. Um, when you said you watched Future Diary, this right?
Mm-hmm.
So, how did you feel about it? I mean, I have never watched an anime with a yandere type character, so what should I expect from that? It's kind of
Um,
what do I know.
it's basically Yumdegu's posts, but like animated because like has all of these traits. Um she accepts Yukiteru for who he is and she loves him. Like you can't deny. I mean, we're gonna call it love. I think it's more of like an obsession,
Yeah.
but we're gonna go with love. And it's basically like a story where actually I don't really remember the like too much, but basically everyone's kind of like in this game where you have to kill the other person so that like you can be the winner, and you they're doing it because like some god like put them in this game, and the cell phones are how you use like to defeat your enemy. And so is weird because she stalks Yukiteru, and her diary, her phone basically has like everything that he does, and so whenever something happens to him, like she knows.
I
Do you
see.
remember Audi like the premise of it? Because I'm like really bad at explaining.
See, actually, I only read halfway through the manga and then I kind of like left it because I don't know, something about it was a bit off. I think the art style didn't get me caught.
Yeah, it
So
it was kind of weird.
yeah, the art style wasn't really that attractive. But the basic premise is, yeah, so there's this, it's actually kind of creepy. I like the story, so I think I should get back to it, but yeah.
I didn't like how it ended, but there's this character in there who has white hair, and I'm thinking back to like Aria's post where um, they mentioned that they like the white hair characters, and I'm just like, I love them too, but they usually
Oh, me too,
have.
me too.
But I won't spoil anything, Hikari, don't worry, but just prepare yourself if you do end up
Yeah,
watching this.
it, it's perfect for Halloween. Is
Yeah,
something like that?
yeah.
Sort of. It's not as bad as I forgot what that. Wait, sorry, I forgot the name of that one.
Which one?
The one where that sent that's in the school and then she kills them with an umbrella. That scene.
Another, you mean? I think it's that.
Which one?
Another.
Oh, another? I haven't watched that one.
Oh, that was good. I forgot the name. I am being very bad at this.
Don't worry, we don't remember either. I have the light novel and I've never read it. But yeah, so
Okay.
we. Does anyone else have anything to add
So,
for Yumdegu's post?
oh,
Not really. Yeah, I think that pretty much summed it up.
Okay, so then Takuto is next, and he talks about the series Michiko and Hachi.
I haven't watched this one. Have
mm,
you watched it, Senpai? Hikari-san?
No, but I want to. I've heard about it.
Uh,
I haven't either.
I feel like whatever Takuto talks about, I want to watch it.
yeah, I know, right? Taku-san's like, he just writes so well.
Yeah,
I got emotional just reading that post and I didn't even know what the story was about.
I know, right? I was like, one day I'm gonna watch something that he writes about, and if it's not exactly the way he said it, I'm gonna be like, I need a refund. But what did you guys think about his post?
I think I
Um,
personally like that take. Like familial love is much more than romantic love.
Mm,
And the way he put it out, like how the characters are different, but they still really support each other, I think that's the basis of what lovers should be. So,
mm-hmm. Hikari?
I also really liked it, and I want to watch it, like for sure.
yeah,
Yeah.
me too.
Um, so I agree with you, Audi. I was reading this and I was like, wait, when are we gonna get to the lover part? And I think it's like a really different take because it's focusing on like
True.
family,
Yeah.
but you can
I mean,
apply
there
it to
was like,
something.
yeah, but I think another thing, dark tone actually made sense. Like the reality of lovers is that we love who we expect the other person to be more than who they really are.
Yeah.
That hit hard.
Yeah, cuz like, you kind of have this idea of this person, but it's like in reality, it could be something
Very
entirely
different from what you
different.
thought.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um it's also a much darker post than I expected, even though like I don't really know anything about Michiko and Hachin until like I read this, but I thought it was like a good feels type of series. Um
It does seem like that sort, yes.
yeah, but then like there was a part where Takuto is like, the lover is um a heavy weight that's tying you down.
Yeah, that was a bit, yes. But it actually is true in a lot of cases. So,
Yeah. So it's like we're
I
seeing the
mean,
dark side.
yeah, exactly. It's like one of those series that depicts the dark side, but it also shows you that there is a good.
Yeah. So
And
yeah,
guys,
mhm.
uh, I will have to leave you a bit early. If I have a guest, it seems who wasn't supposed to come today. I can can you
Uninvited
two
guest.
handle that? Can
Okay.
you can you two finish it by
Okay, we're
yourselves
almost done.
or okay? So then Ori to read the for the next tour. What is the theme about?
Fantasy, right?
Yes. So thank you, Hikari, for
Well,
joining us.
thank you for having me.
Bye,
Bye.
Kari-san.
Bye bye. Next time,
Bye.
invite your guests to the live stream.
Maybe I will. Bye.
Bye bye. Um, but yeah. So, did you have anything else to add for Takuto's post?
Personally, no, I think that's pretty much covered it.
Okay, so then next up is Flo, who is actually the person who requested this theme. So I was excited about reading what his take would be.
True. He picked a visual novel, didn't he?
Yeah. I think it's Kara no Shoujo. I don't know what that
Yes, that one.
translates to, and I've never played it either.
I've played like zero visual novels. The only one I played is some butterfly soup or something.
I feel like I once played a visual novel, but I can't remember, so I don't really know.
Yeah. But
Um,
this sounds interesting. I'd like to play something like this.
yeah, it did. Um, and what was your takeaway from the post before I start talking?
So, Senpai, as far as I can tell, he talked about how when two people are searching for something, they they think they find it in their lovers, so they get attracted to each other. And he was mentioning how Taoko wasn't the main lead, but he thinks she would have been the best heroine for the situation, and that in the end, things like age difference and other things don't really matter if you really do have trust and the will to make the relationship work.
Yes. I also,
It makes sense.
yeah, I also noted that because I feel like when we talk about lovers, it's there's always like this idea of the other person being like feeling something, and so I that was my takeaway for this one.
Yeah.
You know that they're both missing something, and then you kind of just work at it from there.
Yeah, together, right? I mean, towards a goal or something like that.
Hmm. Um, I thought it was interesting that he mentioned cheating though, because nobody has mentioned that. And I feel like the closest that we get is Fred's post. Um,
Oh, sorry, I didn't catch that.
that I thought it was interesting that Flo mentions cheating and nobody
Yeah,
mentions
yeah.
that. But the closest that we get to it is Fred's post because he did
Yes,
wrote
he did.
about a lot of things.
Yeah, that was one extensive post.
Yeah. Um, but Flo didn't go too much into detail, but I just wanted to point it out because like nobody mentions it, so that's why I was like,
True,
that's
it's
interesting.
yeah, one of them. Yeah.
Okay, and then up next we have Irina.
Yep, Prince Anne's post. She managed to pick another Natsume.
Yeah, I was kind of sad that she didn't write for last one, but like she couldn't because it was the Believe tour. So, but she's back with Natsume.
True.
Um,
Hers was a very interesting take too. I mean, like it's completely different from what we've seen till now.
mm-hmm.
She talked about fandom and how sharing a happiness can make us all lovers.
Yes. When I was reading this, I was
I
like,
thought that
this is weird, but
yeah,
I liked it.
yeah, it was one of those. Hey, why didn't I think of this?
Yeah. What were you gonna say?
Again, I think this is one of those non-romantic posts, but it struck a chord. I mean, it makes sense.
Mm-hmm. So I really like this post because like you mentioned, it's the most different out of everyone's. Um,
True.
and I only realized because I read this one before I read Fred's post, which is weird because it's not the order I should have read them in. Um, but after reading Fred's post, and because he defines love as just like people that like something, and that's basically what Irina's post is about. Just people that like Natsume and the fandom.
True. It's the same. I mean, in the end, I think everybody stuck with the same definition, but the way they defined it is very, very different.
Yeah. My take, what I jotted down from my notes is an acceptance and embrace who also love the object of our affection, which I think is her definition of lover. in this post.
Yes.
Yeah. Um. So awesome, Irina. You're always thinking outside the box.
Yeah.
Um. And then up next we have Scott.
Yeah, Scott-san from Mech Anime Reviews, he talked about Princess Tutu, about the relation Duck has with Fakir.
Yes. Which I
What do you
have.
think is the part that stood out most to you, Senpai?
So I have not watched Princess Tutu. I thought I knew what it was about, but when I saw the screenshots, I was like, "This is not the anime I thought." Um.
Yeah, me
So.
neither.
So.
I haven't watched it, so
Yeah. And then when I saw that like the girl is actually a duck, I was like, "This is crazy," and I want to watch it.
yeah,
um.
I did not expect that, honestly.
Yeah, but I guess my takeaway is, opposites attract, and that you kind of find that other person to complete yourself. So, if you guys are too similar, you guys might actually not be as compatible as if you
End
were
up not.
different.
Yes, yes. Yep.
Um,
He
but yeah.
mentioned about how both of them were self-sacrificing to make another person happy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I think that's a very interesting, important point to note because, in a way, if you can't, I mean, if you're always looking out for the other person's happiness, but the other person doesn't do the same, then that pair wouldn't be compatible.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and so it's like they kind of had that similarity and they kind of worked together. I don't know if I read that it was. I don't think it was canon, right? Because I think he mentioned
Apparently, it
shipping.
wasn't strictly canon. Yeah.
Okay, so that was my biggest takeaway for that one.
Hmm. Up next, we have Matt San from Matt in the Hat.
Yes.
He picked Naruto and Hinata.
Yes. I actually watched this movie and part of Naruto, so I actually know a little bit.
I again, this is one of those manga that I read halfway through and stopped. So, but I knew enough to get what he was saying.
Yeah. I actually only read half the manga too, but I've watched like random episodes and stuff.
For some reason, it seems like I've never actually read or watched the mainstream or the ones with the actual most popularity.
Yeah, I think the only ones. Well, actually, I do watch a lot of like the mainstream stuff. It just takes me a while to get there.
Ha, no. I think the closest I got to is Haikyuu, and I started reading before it became popular.
Oh, okay. You were there before it became mainstream.
Yeah, I was there with it before it got an anime adaptation.
Ah,
I'm very proud of that.
I always feel like that whenever that happens. I'm just like, I was here before that. um, but what was your takeaway for this, or like, what did you like
Yeah,
about Matt's
so
post?
I think Matt San, he drew a parallel between a fan and a lover,
Mm-hmm.
and how love also means changing yourself into a better person or a better version of yourself. So I
Yeah,
think he was trying to explain how love would help you become better. I think. I mean, at least that's what I took from that post.
yeah. So I feel like Naruto is like that one series that I hate to talk about for like the end couples, but cause
Yeah.
cause my yaoi butt is
I
like
was
no.
I was shipping Sasuke and Naruto. Okay, so
I know, yes. But they needed another series, so that couldn't happen. No. But yeah, I also jotted down that Matt connects lover to being a fan. Like you can be. It doesn't mean you are just a fan. But and I was confused when I saw that, and I was like, wait, what does that mean? Like, what do you mean someone could be a fan? But then when he started explaining, Hinata's whole, love for Naruto, I was like, oh, okay, I get it, because she's always kind of been there for him, like a support. Um,
as a support, yeah, and he never actually considered her as an equal until almost the very end. So
yeah, I
honestly, when
actually,
I read that part, I
mhm.
thought K-pop was actually a good topic to talk about this here.
Uh-huh, like the music.
Yeah, the K-pop, the fandom, yes.
Oh, okay.
Like how there are like tons of fans and they're actually love the idol, but like it's of course it's a different type of love. But I felt like Matsan kind of explained it in a way that it could be possible to relate with that as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I really liked your point about the whole, it making you a better person. You read even deeper. I was just like, okay, that's what it is. But that's true because even though Hinata wasn't just crushing on Naruto, she always tried to be the best that she could.
Yeah, for him, right? So
Hmm. But yeah,
yeah, I
I
think
like this one.
yeah, it was a very completely, how do you say it?
It was a
Filled
different,
written. I don't know.
yeah. Um, and then Hikari left before we could question her post. Um, but yeah, she talked about Strobe Edge.
Yes, actually, that's actually one of the first shoujo manga that I've read and I liked. Like before Strobridge, my experience with shoujo was not good.
Oh wow. So this was
Yeah,
like
but
the catalyst.
this was a good manga. Like I would recommend it for people who start shoujo. So
Oh, okay.
definitely a good one. Some drama is a bit overrated, but I think it works well overall with the theme and everything.
So, um, Hikari mentions a little bit about the manga. Um, can you talk a little bit more about it?
Oh, sure, why not? I think I should remember this, right?
Okay.
So the female lead is Nino, and Ren is the main lead, a male lead. There is the second male lead whose name I have forgotten, but I think personally it would have made I supported the second guy. Yeah, it is one of those classic shoujo where you expect the main lead to be the second dude because he's more nice, but then as usual the first guy gets the girl.
Ah, okay. Because she
but
mentions
but
that. What happened?
yeah.
She mentions that the guy like already has a girlfriend, and I'm just like, how does this work?
Yeah, that's the point. So, but like I felt Strobridge did it better because as it goes, they show that Ren was dating the other girl more out of sympathy than out of love.
Oh, okay.
So they go much better into his past and his relationship. So it wasn't actually the bad guy gets the girl; it was just another guy gets the girl. So I think the manga's good. It actually dealt with it pretty well.
Oh, okay. Um,
So she also talks about what a relationship should have.
yes. Do, 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 do.
Will you go into that, senpai?
Yes. So I thought it was interesting because she points out a lot of things that everyone has said so far that you would want in a relationship, like respect, understanding, healthy things that you want in a relationship. But uh, she also mentions that you have like similar interests, which I thought was interesting because, other people have mentioned, you want opposites, you want something kind of new. Um, but I also feel like you do need similar interests because otherwise, like, how do you make that connection between each other?
True. I think in a way both work. Like it's not always that you need a different opinion. Like sometimes it's better if you do have a similar interest, but it doesn't always have to be.
Mm-hmm.
I think her post makes a lot of sense since I've read the manga. So, like, when she talks about understanding, I can think of the scene that I think she was referring to.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah, because I mean, I haven't read the manga, but I still feel like I understand, that you do want respect and understanding in a relationship. But
Yeah.
yeah. Um, did you want to add anything else?
Not really. I just wanted to tell you that you should read the manga, senpai.
I kind of want to do. And since you said it's a good beginning shojo and I'm not really into shojo, I feel like it might be a good one.
Oh, it is a good one. It's pretty short also. If you want, I'll send you a couple of things more.
Yes, yes. Um, so up next is actually our last post, which is written by Lita.
Yeah, Lita-san also picked a song. Uh, she mentions about anime in the middle, but I think it's mostly focused on a song by Camila Cabello. Is that how you pronounce her name?
Yeah, I think so. I haven't really listened to a lot of her music. I think it's because I would pronounce it cabello just because I'm Hispanic, but I think
Oh,
a
okay,
lot.
okay,
I
huh?
think a lot of people pronounce it cabello.
Yeah, like me.
So it could be both.
I actually liked the way Lita-san had put up this post, like the format of lyrics and then explanation and then the takeaway message from the lyrics.
Yes.
I have a couple of points here. So,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the ones that main focus, right? So she says you have to adhere to your feelings and not your fear. And then she talks about communication, acceptance, and expression of your opinions. But I felt the stick to your feelings, not your fear was one of the strongest points.
Mm-hmm. Um, I really liked her post for the same reason that you mentioned. I really liked her format because it's like it's really clear to read. Um,
Yeah, exactly.
and I think I also felt like that was the biggest that was the biggest takeaway for me, just because a lot of the things that she does talk about, other people have mentioned, but I like that Lita's post is aggressive. Um, it's like, love is all these things, but you have to take the initiative. Don't be afraid.
Yeah, and she also says don't just go halfway, go the whole way because sometimes it's fine to be aggressive. I
Yeah,
like that line.
yeah. And then this post just
So, yes,
reminds me
senpai,
of
that's
Lynn's
what I have.
post. Yeah, I just wanted to mention that this one really reminds me of Lynn's post because they're both based on like personal experiences, and I just really like this one.
Yeah,
And I think it's a really great post to end the tour on.
yes.
um, so that's basically all we have for this Lover tour. Um, let me see. Yeah, because Lita was the last one. Did you want to sum up sort of like your takeaways in general for Lover?
Okay, sure. So, I think most people we agreed completely on the fact that there has to be acceptance between the two people, and I think almost everybody has a similar sort of idea as to what is a healthy relation and what's not. There were a lot of unique posts where they talked about not just romantic love, but different types of love that we could have, all in a good, nourishing way. Then, of course, there was Fred Sands' post that I think that's basically like the whole thing.
I also agree. I don't know if I mentioned this at the beginning of the stream, but I was like, I feel like we might be repeating ourselves a bit because, everyone kind of has this idea of what you want in a lover, and they're all positive qualities, I think. But there's always a good and a bad, and you always have to kind of work together to make it work.
Yes, yeah.
And then I also agree with Fred's post. That was probably one of my favorites, just because he covered so much.
Yeah, it was extensive. It was really, really researched.
Yeah, and I feel like he mentioned things that I didn't think about, and I feel like a lot of people didn't mention. So read his post too. Make sure it's a long one, but it's good. Um, and so now that we're at the end, um, we are gonna announce our fantasy tour, our October one.
Oh, oops, did I ruin that? Oops.
Do you have it on you? Did you want to read it?
The prompt, I don't have it actually.
Okay, so I'll read it. So for our October fantasy, or our October theme, it's fantasy. I keep saying it wrong. I just want to say fantasy. Um, and our tour actually started like on the 5th. So we're like 2 or 3 posts in already. This live stream's a little bit late in the making, but we made it. And so the theme was requested by Arya, and it reads: In the month of October, we will be exploring the world of fantasy and pop culture. The genre of fantasy focuses on telling stories about our external and internal environments. There are many ways we can interpret the word fantasy. For example, we can talk about how a fantastical place could glorify what real reality should be or the dangers of ideal expectations. Fantasy could also be seen as taking a wild journey or a hallucination, and how that can affect our psyche. I think that's how you say it. And well being. Fantasy can also focus on our personal dreams and expectations, and how those expectations do not align with our reality. Overall, our post will reflect on how we view the fantasy genre and what we can learn about these pop culture mediums. And some examples that Lynn gave us are Harry Potter, Norn 9, and the Ancient Magus Bride. And you said you were excited about
Yes,
this
I
one,
think
right?
this topic definitely, yes. Fantasy is one of like, it's my second best genre, I think, after sports.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I can see you as a sports expert.
I've read way too much sports manga.
I think
But
fantasy
I
is
think
like,
fantasy genre would probably get the huge response. I mean, there are going to be so many different takes about it.
oh
And the
yeah.
topic's also vast, so I think we can expect some good stuff. I mean, like,
Yeah, I also think that the fantasy prompt is very broad, which I think is a good thing. Um,
yeah,
I
because that way, I mean, even with lovers, we got so many different expressions. So I'm looking forward to reading the post on fantasy.
Yes. Do you know more or less what you're gonna talk about, or an idea of what you're thinking?
Mm, for my post or in general?
You signed up, right?
Yeah, I signed up.
Okay, okay. I was like, I don't see you, but I do see you. Is there anything that you're thinking about?
I'm currently I'm between two topics. I wrote Noragami as well as Yona, so I'm gonna pick one of those.
Hmm.
But it might change and I might pick a different story altogether. I don't know.
Yeah. I haven't thought of anything. Even though fantasy is like my favorite genre, I'm just like, I don't know what to talk about.
Actually, his worst one is one of your favorites because you want to talk about everything.
Yes, but like I always try to focus on like one show or one series, and I'm just like, I could talk about all these other things, but I want to talk about like my favorite
Yeah,
one.
it's the one thing, same. I have the same problem, Senpai.
Yeah. So that is all for this live stream. We hope that you guys enjoyed it and enjoyed Audi's voice reveal. I was like, how do you say it? Um,
Yeah, that was kind of. I mean, I kind of messed up, but okay. Experience next time.
all right. Um, this is her first owl stream that she made it. I was so happy. I was like, is she not gonna make it? But you did, so I'm very happy. Um, and yeah, you guys can find the schedule for our fantasy blog tour on the blog already, and we will start sharing the fantasy posts soon. We're still kind of doing the backlog for September, so you might see those on the blog still. And that's all. Anything you want to say, Adi?
Not much, Senpai. I think that covers it.
Okay. We'll see you guys next month or soon on the blog and Twitter. Bye bye.
Bye.